Since the release of Assetto Corsa EVO, you may notice a large number of negative reviews like this on Steam. People are disappointed, frustrated, and simply do not understand what they paid 2,000 rubles for. I am sure that soon there will be a huge number of videos that will both praise Assetto Corsa EVO and tell you what a piece of junk it is. But unfortunately, many commentators and armchair analysts nowadays don't have their own opinion. They watch some of their favorite bloggers who criticize the game and will think the same way. They are blind, they don't see anything at all, and apparently the people who buy Assetto Corsa EVO and don't notice what's written on the main page are just as blind. And it is clearly stated there that the game is in early access. And for the money you paid, by the end of this year, in the fall, you will receive 100 cars, 15 tracks, and a working online mode, among many other things. And all this for 2,000 rubles. 2,000 rubles for 15 tracks, Manishab, 100 cars online. Are you completely out of your mind? But no, people immediately start writing, oh, what is this? It's 20 cars, where's the content? Where? This is early access. Don't people understand what they are buying? Well, at least read that you are buying a game in early access. This is exactly what I want to explain to many people who will watch this video. And that's why today I will show you footage from the game. Everything you will see today, I recorded myself from this very early version of the game that is available now. These are not some cinematic trailers from the game that are embellished or anything like that. I will show you everything as it is, how everything is detailed. We even see the perforation in the car's exhaust, every parking sensor, every radiator grill. On some cars, you can even open the hood. In an Audi, you can fold the car's roof, and that's not all, just wait. Inside the car, this is also implemented on the dashboard. For example, if you take a Lotus, you can change the car's mode. That is, Eco mode, Drive mode, Track mode, and all of this is displayed on the dashboard. Also, how much fuel is left. This is not some kind of mock-up where you play a game and have a display inside the car, but the values are always more or less the same. Here, everything is implemented and it changes on civilian and other types of cars. But of course, not on all of them, because I immediately took an Audi, checked it out, and it's not implemented there yet. So this function is available on a couple of cars. I think by the release it will be on every car. Honestly, in this game on stream, when I first started, I spent a lot of time here in the garage, just examining every car, every detail, because unlike Gran Turismo, here, you can move around inside the cabin, look at everything, zoom in, as I already mentioned, as close as possible, including inside the cabin. And the graphics are so good here that you can even see whether the plastic is hard or soft. I could show you various shots from the game for a long time, which demonstrate the car's detailing. But we still have more to discuss ahead. I don't know if with these shots, various inserts and stories, I was able to convince you of how accurate the car models are here and how well they are crafted. But I can say for myself that in no other game, not even in Turismo, have I encountered or seen such well-crafted, high quality and detailed cars. You can get absorbed here for a very long time, and when VR appears here, I won't need these rides, at all. I'll just sit and admire the Lotus. And to finally close the topic on cars, let me show you the car customization here. Each car has its own visual settings and some are quite detailed. For example, here is the Lotus inscription. You can make it gray, white, or paint the calipers themselves. For instance, you can choose a yellow color, Maquipo, and it will be a bit more visible on black. Next, we have the color of the car's body itself. You can choose factory colors or set your own custom color. I like the gray color, but I changed the scene so it wouldn't blend with that hanger. We can choose two colors for the rims. And essentially, estende-se com shed. A slightly different design for the same rims and their color. So as I said, at this early stage of the game, there aren't that many options to choose from. There are separate parts, but as I understand it, it's the suspension, and it's not at all clear what changes here. I want to say right away, that there are quite a few problems with shadows and lighting in the game. For example, you see I zoom in, iba, the shadow appears, I zoom out. Somehow in this scene, the shadows and lighting work very, very strangely. Of course, I'm sure this will all be fixed in the future. Plus, there are some experimental graphics settings that make the image more pleasant, but then it slows down a lot, because the game also has poor optimization. And we have the most interesting part left, the interior. Let's open the doors to see what will change there. Of course, there is a view from the cabin, but I'll try to show you like this. Most likely, here will be the color of the interior, the color of the leather. We have brown leather, red, black, white. These are some cool little features. I really like them a lot in Test Drive Unlimited. You can change the scene to make it brighter, for example, over there. Like this, it will be better. Let's set it today. So look at the quality of the seats, how everything is detailed, and now it will, what? Be better visible. Well, basically, the color in the interior changes. You can also change the steering wheel upholstery. For example, right now we have an Alcantara steering wheel, but I think with this, look, we need something else. And there you go. Yes, it's a regular leather steering wheel. The only thing is, yes, you can also change the stitching itself. Well, basically, that's all the customization for the Lotus Emira. We can also open the hood on this car. And basically, here, we can also see this huge, incredibly spacious trunk. Essentially, it's very massive and extremely spacious, offering ample room. You can zoom in, rotate, and take a look. This feature is not implemented on all cars. An minimi, allowing you to open the hood and trunk, but many do have it. Then, here's more. Again, using the lighting, we can try to peek inside, and most of the time it's not very detailed. The textures inside are absolutely not as high quality as we would like to see. This is especially noticeable on some other cars when you open the hood and the textures are really not great. But I think we're just being picky at this point. Also, in some cars, you can turn on the dashboard and interact with the panel inside. Again, this feature is not yet implemented in all cars. Now that's definitely everything regarding the current exterior and interior appearance of the cars. Next, I would like to tell you about the graphics in the game. I didn't expect much from the early version of the game because I'm the kind of person who bought Assetto Corsa Competizione for 300 rubles. What it was and what it has become are two completely different games. Therefore, I was sure it would be something like Rennsport, Le Mans Ultimate, or some other simulators. But I was wrong because from the first minutes on the stream, the graphics really caught my attention. Firstly, I paid a lot of attention to how the track is made in the game. So far, there are only 5 tracks, and they are also well crafted. The first thing that caught my eye was the background, the stands, the people walking back and forth, the marshals, and just the overall atmosphere. There's some grass growing somewhere, trees. All of this is done extremely well because usually in racing games this is greatly simplified. Well, who needs to look at that in a racing game? Even in Gran Turismo 7 there are 2-dimensional trees. Honestly, I don't pay much attention to them because the dynamic visuals are great. In racing games, the dynamic visuals are very important, and this is primarily, I think, due to shadows, lighting, and other such effects. Right from the start, take for example Red Bull. The track is even made in the same Assetto Corsa Competizione. Recently, I played Gran Turismo 7 on Red Bull. You're driving. You look into the distance. You see these slanted mountains with very awkward angles, where there's nothing, just emptiness. There should be grass growing beautifully there. Those trees in the distance, it all should look very cool, but for some reason, in racing games, Red Bull is made quite poorly. Here, everything is completely different. Here, as I drive, you can already see the stands from afar. The trees, lots of those trees, some grass in the distance. I don't know, of course, maybe at the beginning, the first 5 times they made it so well for us, just like the cars, you know? Maybe in the future, they will add new content and then they might cut corners. Maybe the car won't be as detailed, not as many parts of the car will open, and inside it might not be as customizable with various screens and so on. And the same goes for the tracks. Maybe they only worked on them so thoroughly at the beginning. Because if you take Assetto Corsa Competizione, Pomidioy, other tracks there are made much better. But the Red Bull Ring addition was done poorly. Similarly, in Gran Turismo 7, Red Bull appeared later. It wasn't in the release. In general, time will tell. Although there are still flaws. For example, when you approach the gravel, there's an extremely flat texture and it really stands out, which slightly spoils the picture. But overall, the graphics here are at a very high level, even considering that the game is in early access. But there's poor optimization, and we'll talk about it a bit later. Also, regarding the graphics, there's a problem with the effects. The rain trail looks terrible. Tire tracks are kind of there, but they appear in a strange, haphazard way. Sometimes they don't appear at all, and they're quite small, barely noticeable, and on gravel, they might not be there at all. The third very important point for our drifter friends, there's absolutely no smoke here. You can rev the engine for a long time, but I didn't have any trail from the wheels to smoke up the whole track. Or even a small part with effects. I'm telling you, it's a real problem here. But there's something cool here. It's the rain, specifically how the rain looks in the cockpit. Finally, after a long time since Drive Club, we have a game where the raindrops are implemented quite nicely. These raindrops move when you turn left or right. From the outside, the rain also looks good, especially at night when a bit of mist appears. Overall, it's all done very well. I really enjoyed the rain here. I had already stopped believing that any racing game would implement decent rain. So, respect to the developers for the rain, of course. The game has very cool lighting, especially at night. I've never seen anything like it at night. Also, if you add rain, there's sometimes a mist, and the light refracts through this mist. Overall, the night here is insanely cool. Since it's sometimes hard to depict night in a simulator, for example in Forza Motorsport 7, the night is insanely dark, and you can't see a thing. In some other simulator, the night, on the contrary, might be overexposed, and it won't resemble night at all. Here, they've done a great job of maintaining that balance of darkness. How the lighting from the track works, yes, from some lamps, and how the lighting from your car works. And I think because of this, the graphics also look quite high level. That is, we have really great textures themselves and plus great lighting. Together, this gives an insanely cool picture. There are a few questions, of course. Sunrise, sunset. At sunrise, it really overexposes the picture. Well, some will like it, some won't, because sometimes it's really very difficult to drive, almost impossible. You can't see anything at all. You feel like lowering some kind of visor. Overall, I was satisfied with the graphics. Also, regarding the sounds of the cars, I think it's easier for me to just show you clips where I stay silent and you listen. Personally, I am quite satisfied with the sound. It's voluminous, it's bassy, dense, and most importantly, finally there's no screeching when braking like there was in ACC. In general, listen for yourself. Many people are very concerned about the physics aspect. Unfortunately, I can't really tell you much about the physics because I need to drive more. In other words, the time I've spent on this simulator is not enough. But I want to tell you that on prepared cars, the physics feels almost exactly like Assetto Corsa Competizione. As for civilian cars, they also handle nicely. Some of them turn poorly, right? Some are more aerodynamic. The type of tires you choose has a significant impact. There are different tire sets available for civilian cars here. There are both soft sports tires, and the feedback changes because of this. As you have different tire grip on the track, and accordingly, with more sporty, grippier tires, you get tighter feedback. And here I would like to immediately talk about the feedback. It's great here, right out of the box. So all I did was look at the recommended settings for the bass on the website. And to get ahead of myself, I want to say that there's nothing special there. They just slightly reduced the power of your bass and added a few different filters so that the steering wheel doesn't hit too hard. So when it comes to physics, if you take the physics plus the game on the steering wheel, the feedback, combine it all together, it's insanely enjoyable to drive. I liked it. I would gladly race online with regular civilian cars. At the same time, those same prepared cars, they steer well, they turn very well at speed, if, well, you warm up the tires accordingly. And it's great. That's all I can say. But there is one but. I still don't like how the cars behave in collisions. If it weren't for my modder, Adam, who sent me a video, I would even tell you that the collision here is exactly like in Assetto Corsa Competizione, because no matter how I try to crash into something or flip it in a prepared car, it's just like in ACC, it's glued to the asphalt, you can't move it. You might say, how is that possible? In Assetto Corsa, cars do flip over. Yes, they do flip, but it looks insanely stupid. It's still as if it's glued to the asphalt, spinning unnaturally. Take the collisions in Le Mans Ultimate, for example, or in Automobilista 2, when you're just driving an LMP, bam. There's some accident, the car flies into the air, does several spins, and you're trying to drive under it with parts falling off. Well, damn, you can't really compare that. So for me, my moderator Adam sent me a video, this one right here, where you can see that civilian cars can indeed be flipped over on the curb without any problems. I hope I'm wrong, but it seemed to me that the collision here and the car flipping, like in ACC, are cars that are really stuck to the asphalt. Well, since we're talking about collisions, let me quickly tell you about the damage. They are kind of in the game, but not visually. Visually, they are not present at all right now. And if they do appear, I think they will be just small scratches. So nothing like parts absolutely falling off, or even getting severely dented, because the car manufacturer won't allow that. That's all. But it does affect handling, of course. If you enable it in the settings, then if you crash hard, the steering wheel starts to become crooked, the car turns poorly in corners, and so on. But the wheels don't fall off. And overall, the situation with damage is still somewhat disappointing because visually, as I said, there aren't even any scratches on the car. Next, I would like to talk to you about the bots. Artificial intelligence. It's extremely dumb here. So you're driving and the opponents just do crazy things. I specifically turn them up to full power, to 100%. And very often they spin you around. Plus, it depends on what car your AI opponent is driving. And for some reason, if they are driving a Chevrolet Camaro, they don't drive on the track at all, but start driving on the grass, cutting corners. And overall, racing here against bots, against AI is extremely stupid because they are inadequate. I really hope that this game will be mainly focused on online play because they promise an open world here. Forget AI, forget bots, only online, because online is where all the fun happens. Let AI just drive around like traffic and that's it. Why bother with that? It's better to practice and race with real people. Also recently on Steam, if you go into properties, you could enter a beta tester key and then you get licenses in the game. In general, licenses were supposed to appear right with the release of the early version, but that didn't happen. At the time of writing this video, they still aren't available, but supposedly they should be released for everyone any moment now. I've already checked out the beta patron version. I think it won't change much as people were using this license. Unfortunately, this chassis disposiga is the NARPA, not a driving school like in Gran Turismo 7. It's not track knowledge like in Gran Turismo 7. It's just a dumb fragment made only to somehow fill the anticipation for a new update in this game. To provide the game with at least some content. Because as you understand, there's absolutely nothing to do in the game at the moment. Just admire the cars, look at the graphics, just drive alone. And the license involves not explaining anything to you. You just get in the car, drive. One section, then the second license done, the second section. And so on for about 5 licenses where you drive a piece of the track, and then on the 6th time you drive the entire track within a certain time. That's it. How to drive the track correctly. A demonstration of some kind of race. At least show how the professionals drive. Alright, never mind. No need to explain anything. At least just show how to drive. Include some kind of video clip. Drive however you want. That's it, in short. But this shouldn't be the case. There's not even a ghost of yourself to compete against yourself. There aren't even replays, but I think they might add replays. Maybe add some other features. Maybe they'll eventually add race demonstrations, but for now it's just incredibly dumb. Just a regular time trial, some kind of time challenge, and that's it. Without any explanations, without any records with other participants. So, I hope the licenses here will change. They'll add some kind of driving academy where you'll be taught how to properly drive this or that car, what types of turns there are, and other things. Well, to wrap up, let's talk about optimization. In principle, it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, at first, yes, the game was lagging a bit. Then it somehow sorted itself out. And then I set everything to ultra, and it was fine. Everything worked smoothly without FPS drops. And overall, it didn't lag for me. But as soon as you add opponents, even 10 opponents, 10 to 15 opponents, and that's it. Terrible lag starts. If you add 20 opponent bots, then it's a complete disaster. I wouldn't say that I have a particularly weak processor, but it should handle 20 people in a race. And it's not just me, everyone has this issue, even those with super powerful computers. Add more opponents, that's it, the game starts to lag significantly. So, as you can see, there's not much optimization. Riding alone, yes, no problem, but with others, it's not possible to have a smooth race yet. And also, as I already mentioned, the bots and opponents are just dumb, very dumb. And at the moment, that's basically all the information I wanted to share with you. But let's draw some kind of conclusion here. Many people mistakenly believe that Assetto Corsa EVO will be Gran Turismo 7 on PC. Many compare, and I do too, EVO with Gran Turismo. But Gran Turismo. And I want to tell you, the developers at Kunos for Assetto Corsa EVO don't care about your Gran Turismo. Because the online community for the very first Assetto Corsa, where they hold drift and racing competitions, is thriving. Just some racing on any cars you like, but thanks to various mods. The online community in the first Assetto is 5 times higher than that of Gran Turismo. Therefore, I think the developers absolutely don't care whether it resembles Gran Turismo or not. Surely they have their own vision for this game. But in any case, they promise us lots of cars, tracks, an open world, and online racing. And apparently mods. Therefore, I think the future is very bright for Assetto Corsa EVO. There is also a second group of people who say, this is early access. So what will they do? They might merge. The company might go bankrupt, this and that. How long will they be doing this? How long will they be doing this? I don't know. I'm not even sure if they will launch online. They are planning to do it. They have set deadlines, but it's not certain they will meet them. But the fact that they will finish the game, complete it, and it will be very cool and playable. Honestly, I have no doubt about that, because there is an example. Assetto Corsa Competizione, which, I repeat, was sold in early access for 300 rubles, was refined, had a lot of different content added to it, and still quite a lot of people play this game. And my overall impressions of this game are extremely positive. What I saw is a good foundation from this game. At the moment, you can create an incredibly cool ecosystem, a bandita, a simulator not only for circuit racing, not only for prepared cars which are already here. This GT3 group, yes, it's honestly getting a bit tiresome. I just want to take some Volkswagen Golf or say a Toyota GR86, and I want to drive these cars, race civilian cars online. That would be great. Plus an open world. Maybe somewhere in this open world you can drive in traffic. And I think this game has a very bright future. But people apparently don't understand when they buy something labeled early access. Why didn't I criticize this game from the start? Because my expectations were initially much lower. I knew what I was getting for 2,000 rubles. I knew the game would have only 5 tracks and 20 cars. The developers talked about this. Early access to the game. I was sure there would be bugs and crashes. Were there? Yes, there were, of course. I knew there would be poor optimization. There was. And that's exactly what happened. But I wasn't prepared for the game to look so beautiful. I wasn't prepared for the feedback to work properly and adequately from the very start. I wasn't prepared for such car detailing. These things surprised me. The detailing of the tracks. That's why I see a very cool future for this game. But you need to understand that at the moment, if you want to buy this game and get absorbed in it for hours, days on end, then I have to disappoint you. There's nothing to do in it. Just buy it, look at the cars, drive on the tracks, and that's it. Because with opponents, everything will lag and freeze. And put it aside. Put it aside so it can mature, but unfortunately, it will take a long time to mature. Yes, periodically there will be expansions. Yes, the game will be periodically supplemented and enriched with content, but without online, who needs it? Well, okay, in a few months, they might add another track, maybe a few more cars, and you'll look at them too. Yeah, okay, fine, and that's all. You need to wait until they add some kind of career mode to the game where, as the developer said, you'll buy a car just like in Test Drive Unlimited, choosing the interior color, the configuration, and so on and so on. There will be some kind of career ladder, something interesting needs to be devised. Or they need to incorporate online features here, and the online mode, I repeat, as they promise, will only be available in the fall. But we must not forget that in the end, when all this is done, for 2,000 rubles you will get 100 cars, 20 tracks, and online mode. Just for that, I'm already willing to spend this money. And when this game is released, when they at least add the online mode as they promise, this game will surely cost not 2,000 rubles, but much, much more. And all those who are hating now, all those who write in the comments, oh, what is this? What did I get for 2,000 rubles? Mowaket. They themselves will buy this game later at double the price. They might buy this game for 4 or 5,000 rubles. So my verdict is this. If you want to save money, buy it now. And in a year, you'll be able to play it. Or in 2 to 3 months, just check back again to see what's new. And still, as before, turn it off and wait, insist on this game, because this process will not be quick. Moreover, I think that there won't be an online presence by fall. For some reason, I feel that they might not meet the deadlines. And even if they do make it, the online version might not be the most stable. So here, you can probably even multiply by 2, and those will be more realistic timeline. And if you are among those who thought that for 2,000 rubles you would buy a game in early access where you would immediately have a career, licenses, a bunch of cars, tracks online, and an open world, then, as you can see, I will disappoint you. Come back here in a year or two. Probably everything will be there, but at a higher price. The developers promise us a whole ecosystem because they apparently observed what people are interested in. From the example of the first Assetto Corsa, they saw how people love drifting, how they enjoy weaving through traffic and other disciplines from the first Assetto. which were added with the help of mods. And apparently they want to incorporate all of this into AC EVO as part of a full-fledged game. And I really want to believe that they also see that people get tired of constantly racing in the same class. Many people want to drive civilian cars on tracks, and I hope they succeed and make it happen. Most sim racers play iRacing, then Assetto Corsa Competizione, followed by R Factor 2, Automobilista 2, Le Mans Ultimate, Rennsport. And all these games are played very sluggishly. That is, when a game receives a major update, boom, online activity increases, but then it slowly starts to decline. Then another update comes along. Boom, the game's interest seems to increase. Then again, up, and online activity drops. In Automobilista 2, it's a great game. I played it, but there are fewer than 1,000 people online. So guys, support with a like, try to share this video. Let's hope the developers succeed. Oh, as lately, things have been dull with simulators, and unfortunately racing games aren't particularly exciting us. That's all from me, friends. This was Kus, and you are on the Kus-Kus Racing channel. See you until the next races. Bye.